Hey folks, here's another super quick Procreate Dreams tutorial. The animation is extremely simple, however, there's one superb trick in the middle that I know will help a lot of you out massively when you want to reuse animations. So let's check it out. Okay, let's take a look at the artwork. Pretty simple setup so far. We've got the wheel, carriage, frame, and then just a paper texture on top. And I've set the background color in here. So what do we want to happen? Okay, we want the wheel to rotate and we need the carriage to come with it. So it makes sense that we are going to use timeline edit, select both of these and create a group. While I'm here, I'm going to switch to tracks and just delete these empty ones. The empty tracks build up pretty quickly. Okay, so now we've got a group. I'll just quickly rename that. Paris wheel. Okay, so we don't want to rotate the wheel part on its own. We want to rotate the entire group. Let's go back to 0 seconds and tap and add a move keyframe. Now, I want to make sure my anchor point is in the right place. So I'm going to tap to edit anchor. Make sure that's dead center. Hit done. Okay, I'm going to jump ahead. I don't know, let's try around 20 seconds. And I'll tap on the keyframe track to add another one in. So instead of manually rotating it, I'm just going to come in and I'm going to enter a value. So we want it to go 360 degrees to go a full circle. Now let's see. That's working. Okay, not too slow that it's boring, not too fast that people are going to vomit at it. Okay. The only other thing I want to change here, we don't want it to accelerate or anything like that. So I just want to make sure if I long press in between the keyframes, set all these things to linear, that'll make sure that it's just smooth. And we're going to make sure that all of this loops at the end as well. Let's go back to the start. Now we need to fix our carriage rotation. So to do this, we're just going to do the same rotation, but just in the opposite direction. Think of it like somebody running on a treadmill. They're running in one direction, the treadmill's going the other. So they're moving, but staying in place at the same time. I'm going to go back to the first frame on my carriage. Tap, action, move and scale. And 20 seconds, I think is where we had it. I'll tap on that keyframe track to add another one. And then I'm going to type in 360, but make sure it's negative so that it goes the opposite direction. See how that works. Okay, and I've managed to miss a very important step, the anchor point. So I'm going to tap edit anchor and make sure that that's exactly where I want it to rotate on the wheel. And hopefully that will fix that problem. Okay, looking good. So here's where it gets interesting. We want to reuse this and copy it. So let's take this animation. We're going to create a new track, tap plus, and go to long press and copy this. And then on the track that I want it to appear on, long press and paste. And slide that so it lines up. Now, here's the part that might trip a couple of people up working with Dreams in general. If I want to select the carriage on top and move it, if I go to move it, it just keeps snapping back into place. Why is this happening? It's because I'm selecting the actual track itself and there's already keyframes on it. If I move the selector down to the keyframe track, and now if I move it, it will move. But we also don't want this because if you look, it's actually created a keyframe for the move position because this track contains all the keyframe data for the position, the rotation and the scale. Let's undo that. So the way around this is, and this is just such a useful trick to have, I'm going to long press on this track. I'm going to expand, move and scale. And what this does is gives us the breakdown of all the individual keyframes. X and Y are the position and X and Y. And then you've got scale, horizontal, scale, vertical, and then the rotation is the last one. So we don't want the position. So we'll long press on that track. Delete translate X, delete translate Y. So now we can grab this, move it wherever we want. It's still got the rotation keyframes, but it it's not bound to any particular position, so it'll go exactly where we want it to. Okay, so let me go and position this properly so that it aligns up. And now we don't have to animate again. And we've got 2 of them. So I'm going to repeat this process for each of the carriages. I'm just going to create empty tracks, and I'm going to duplicate the one that we've just fixed. Let me go and make sure that that keyframe is gone. And I'm going to long press and collapse, move, and scale. So yeah, so I'm just going to speed the video up. You'll just see me do the exact same process over and over. Okay, so I have everything in place. That was pretty quick, easy, and painless to do, and everything's looking like it should. I think the only other thing I will do is just make this a perfect loop. I'm going to close up the Ferris wheel group, and I'm going to cut it here. So tap on the clip itself, and edit, split. And I don't need the right side. Now, you might notice that the rotation keyframe looks like it's vanished. It hasn't, it's still there. If I drag out the length of the end of it, you'll see it's still there. So now, if I long press and duplicate on that entire group, we'll now have a perfect loop. And that's it. So yeah, so hopefully you found that duplication of the animated asset trick useful. So yeah, thanks for watching. We're going to be adding lots more Dreams content over the next while, both quickie tutorials as well as some longer deep dive videos, so consider subscribing. We also recently launched our comprehensive Procreate Dreams course, which covers absolutely everything you can do with Dreams, so check out the link in the description if you're interested. Thanks.